In the heart of a decrepit, life-forgotten town stood an abandoned house, a rotting monument to desolation. Its presence loomed over the withered earth like a beast preserved in time. And there, among the shadows, lived little Zainab and her mother. Their days were draped in a shroud of sorrow, but it was the nights that truly breathed life into their nightmares. As dusk fell, the house awoke. It started with whispers, barely audible but piercing through the silence like rusted blades. Zainab, a delicate child with wide, perpetually fearful eyes, often caught snippets of hurried conversations from yet unseen figures. Her mother dismissed them as figments of a wild imagination, yet the alarm in her trembling voice betrayed her disbelief. On a cold, moonless night, Zainab, clutching her frayed teddy bear, ventured into the labyrinthine corridors of their home. Each step resonated with a hollow echo, as if the walls themselves were mocking her defiance. She walked past long-forgotten rooms, their doors mere skeletal frames, leading into the unknown. The air grew thick with the smell of damp wood and decay. She halted abruptly as a melodic, sinister lullaby drifted through the darkness. The lullaby seemed to promise both comfort and dread. Driven by equal parts curiosity and terror, Zainab followed the haunting tune to a room she barely remembered. The door creaked ominously as she nudged it open with her trembling hand. Inside, the room was bathed in an eerie, unnatural light. Shadows danced along the walls, contorting into grotesque forms. In the center of the room stood a decrepit music box, its ballerina twirling slowly and rhythmically to the haunting melody. Zainab's heartbeat synced with the ticking of the mechanism, each tick drawing her further into the web of horror. Suddenly, the air crackled with a chilling gust, blowing out the faint remnants of warmth from the air. Shadows coalesced, their forms solidifying into figures bathed in a dark mist. They whispered her name in unison, their voices harmonizing into an agonizing symphony. Zainab's breath hitched, and she turned to flee, only to find the doorway now blocked by a hulking, shadowed entity emanating malevolence. The creature's eyes, or rather the voids where eyes should have been, locked onto Zainab. She could feel its icy grip reaching into her very soul. Then, a voice, her mother's voice, broke through the cacophony of terror. "Zainab, run!" With a surge of adrenaline, Zainab darted past the phantoms, her tiny feet barely touching the ground. She ran through the winding corridors, her movements guided by an instinctive desperation to escape. She found her mother waiting at the main door, panic etched across her face. Just as they were on the brink of freedom, the door slammed shut with a resounding finality. The horror of their confinement in the haunted house hit them like a wave. Zainab knew they were no longer alone. The shadows had claimed them, and the night had just begun.